From the Caribbean News Desk, the morning edition. Good morning. I'm Denis Chabrol.
And I'm Kendol Morgan with the latest from across the Caribbean.
The 4 members of parliament who resigned from the Cayman Islands government last month, leaving it without a majority in parliament, have rejected claims that their actions put the country at risk. Former Deputy Premier Andrew E. Banks, the most senior of the 4, refuted the claims at their first public meeting on Wednesday night.
For my part, speaking as the former Minister for Financial Services, the greater risk to the country isn't our resignation. The greater risk to the country is a malfunctioning executive. And for everything that we just described, we were on a runaway train. And somebody had to pull the emergency brake.
Ebanks was joined by Health Minister Sabrina Turner, Climate Resiliency Minister Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes, and Parliamentary Secretary Heather Bowden in last month's walkout. They cited deep disagreements over policy and the conduct of the cabinet by Premier Juliana O'Connor-Connolly. The 4 say since their resignation, they have been blocked from using government buildings for public meetings. The next general elections in the Cayman Islands are constitutionally due next year.
Less than 1 week after Haitian Prime Minister Gary Conille was fired, the Caribbean community CARICOM says it is ready to assist the strife-torn country. There was no clear indication whether the CARICOM Eminent Persons Group will be meeting with representatives of the Haitian government. Instead, CARICOM said it is looking forward to an early meeting with the new Prime Minister Alex Didier-Fil-Aimé and continued dialogue with the leaders of the government of Haiti, saying that it has followed with deep concern the transitional governance process in Haiti. CARICOM again said it expected that elections would be held in keeping with the agreed framework by November 2025.
CARICOM member nations and their partners in the health sector need to address the crisis of a shortage of health workers. Guyana's Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony singled out the shortage of health sector workers as a major problem facing the region. He addressed yesterday's opening of a multi-sectoral and stakeholder consultation being hosted by the CARICOM Secretariat and the Pan American Health Organization.
If we don't have the nurses in our hospital, then care for those patients are going to decline. And in the region, as far as I know, we are not training fast enough to replace those who have gone elsewhere. So this is a crisis, and this is one of the things that we need to frontally address. So any plan that we're doing would need to look at how we deal with human resources. What can we do? And apart from trying to talk to the countries and so forth who are taking our human resources, what can we do internally? What can we do in the region to make sure that we are training and retaining and so forth?
Antigua and Barbuda plans to test the feasibility of having longer school days. The country's cabinet this week gave approval for a trial in 2 schools to begin with 2 or 3 days per week. Information Minister Melford Nicholas says the move is aimed at developing more rounded students.
This is not necessarily to extend the academic hours within the school. The intention is to broaden the scope of education to deal with non-academic student development. So whether or not it is track and field, or it is playing the pan, or being part of an orchestra, or a cadet corps, those are the initiatives that I think we are trying to build into the total education package of our young people.
Dominica says it will present its highest award, the Dominica Award of Honor, to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi at next week's India CARICOM Summit in Guyana. The award recognizes Prime Minister Modi's early donation of COVID-19 vaccines to Dominica during the recent pandemic, which it says allowed the country to in turn make donations to some other Caribbean neighbors. CARICOM heads of government will meet with Indian Prime Minister in Guyana from next Tuesday to Thursday. The meeting, to be co-chaired by CARICOM Chairman Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell of Grenada, will address areas of common interest, including the health and pharmaceutical sector.
In Antigua, a nurse has been fined just over US $18,000 for forging COVID-19 vaccination cards during the pandemic. Ms. Jamisha Milford of Bolans, who is no longer a nurse, has also been fined US $2,000 for stealing blank vaccination cards. Millwood was caught after people turned up at a vaccination center with completed cards just days after an IT system outage. She had not been authorized to sign the COVID-19 vaccine cards.
This has been the Morning Edition from the Caribbean News Desk. You may contact us by phone or WhatsApp on +592 700 9293. Thanks for listening.